You're listening to the Infinite Banking Mastery Podcast. Did you know that you could build a tax-free pool of wealth that's liquid and accessible all your life while building your retirement nest egg? Gain full control of your financial future and stop relying on the government and banks. The wealthy have already discovered this wealth-building secret. Now it's your turn to get financially secure without following the conventional wisdom that keeps you in debt to banks. Now here's your host, Valerie LaRocque.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Infinite Banking Mastery Podcast. Thank you for being here and for listening. And today, I thought I would go over what it looks like to work with me. People reach out all the time and aren't exactly sure what the process looks like. So I thought I would just share it in a podcast. So first, I will want to know as much as I can about you. So the first meeting is going to be an introductory meeting where hopefully I can learn as much as possible about you. Things like, are you married? Do you have a family? In what state do you live? What are your goals? It's always helpful to know about your goals and what you are working to achieve, so I know what we're shooting for, what we're aiming for, and what we're trying to accomplish. Also, it's helpful to know what age you plan to retire, if at all. Some people plan to just transition and maybe not fully retire, but maybe shift and do something that they think they'll find more enjoyable because they don't want to get bored and just be at home doing nothing. So they have a plan for what they might want to do in the next season of their life once they retire from their current occupation. What are you currently doing to reach your retirement goals? What would you like to be doing in order to reach your retirement goals? Would you like to be saving more, or what are you doing as far as saving towards those goals? Are you planning to pay for your children's college expenses? What type or types of savings accounts are you working with to try to reach your retirement goals? For example, do you have an IRA or do you have a Roth IRA? If so, do you save into them regularly? Are you saving the max each year? And what about a 401k? Are you offered that at your workplace? Are you participating in it? And is it a Roth 401k? What is the approximate balance in this account or other retirement accounts? And approximately how much you save into these accounts each year is very helpful for me to know. Do you save elsewhere, like into a regular savings account at a bank? Or do you save into an individual investment account? How much do you save into either of these accounts annually? And what's the approximate balance? Knowing the amounts you're saving helps me to see where your dollars are going. Are they going into accounts that will be taxable later or not? Or are you saving into accounts that will be tax-free later? It helps me to see your cash flow and how you're able to save or what you have possibly able to work with as far as beginning a whole life policy for the infinite banking concept. Another question would be, how do you feel about any stock market accounts that you have? If you have these, do you like the risk, or are you not at all concerned by the ups and downs of the market, or is that something that leaves you unsettled? Do you expect to receive a tax return, or do you usually get one? Do you currently have any life insurance? If so, what type of coverage is it? What is the death benefit? Is it a term policy, and how many years do you have left, or when did you start the contract? All this is helpful for me to know what coverage you already have, what coverage maybe we don't want to replace, or maybe that is important to replace. Of course, a lot of times this is not information readily for you that you just have in your mind, but it's just something that's helpful information for me to acquire so I know how we can work that in or what makes sense as far as moving forward with life insurance. Do you have work benefits such as life or disability insurance? Do you know what the coverage is at your workplace? Work coverage is usually pretty inexpensive, and so sometimes people aren't sure if they should take their work coverage, if they are already getting an individual policy, or if they already have an individual policy. I would say usually you should just take it. It's usually easy for me to say just take that coverage because it's usually so darn inexpensive, and because that coverage will be there while you work there, but it's not going to go with you. So just extra coverage to have while you are at that workplace. I just read a post recently of an acquaintance of mine who works in the office of the investment company that I'm registered with. And she is one of the best people at the company. She knows so much and will always do what it takes to find you the right answer. She's adored by everyone. And so a year ago, this precious woman lost her husband, a man that she had been with for over 30 years. So she wrote a heartfelt post about what happened a year ago. And all of us knew about this happening, but she really didn't go into it. This is her first post that I'm aware of that she spoke about it. And her post brought tears to my eyes. In it, she expressed that when someone that close to you dies, grief takes complete control over your life. She was overcome by overwhelming sorrow. She said, "If you think you have enough life insurance, you don't." And I completely believe that because no matter how much life insurance you acquire, it is not as much as you would earn if you were to be able to work up until your retirement years. People think, oh, once my kids move out, or once my assets are more sizable, once I pay off all my debts, I won't need life insurance anymore. But that really is, to me, the wrong outlook. You have to consider how you may have expected that person to contribute to your retirement as well. And now that they're gone, they will not be able to build that retirement savings with you. You don't know what your future medical costs will be, or if you will need assisted living or home care. What if you have sizable assets and expect that your heirs will have to pay estate taxes? It will be much easier for them if they have a death benefit to easily take care of those taxes. Therefore, the need for life insurance doesn't just go away as you age. Okay, moving on. Do you have debts you want to eliminate? If so, can you tell me more about them? What your minimum payments are, how much you're paying that might be over and above the minimum required payment? Do you expect to receive an inheritance in your future? Do you expect to have to take care of your parents in your future? Do you know if your parents have long term care coverage? Or do you have long term care coverage? Long term care without having long term care and having a long term care need, that can completely obliterate anyone's retirement savings. So it's an important thing to look into. And again, these whole life policies, that's one great feature with about them is that you would have access to up to 50% of the death benefit if you were to trigger a long-term care need. But there's also specialized insurance for long-term care if you'd like to keep your whole life policy for the purposes of IBC. If you'd like to keep that policy more available just to use the cash and you want to be able to use that in addition to having something else take care of any long-term care needs, we can separate that out more. Are you a business owner? If so, what is your business structure? Do you have a key person working there that you can't afford to lose? Where, if that person left the company, you would lose money while you are trying to replace that important employee. Do you have a buy sale agreement? And is that agreement funded? Do you have a succession plan in general as a business owner? Do you own real estate? If so, do the home or homes you have mortgages? And if so, how much are those mortgages? What are the monthly payments? Are you paying more over and above the cost or the mortgage payment? Are you paying more in towards to pay off that house? Are they rentals? Are they vacation homes? Another good question for me too is what are you hoping to accomplish with IBC? Do you have something right away that you're hoping to finance? Are you trying to build it up to be able to buy real estate with it or some other investment? Do you have specific plans right away, or do you have something you're looking to use the policy for in your future? And how far out is that? All these things are helpful for me to know to be able to help you well, to do a good job, to be able to build the best plan for you that will address your goals and what you're trying to accomplish. And I will need your birthday to begin anything at all, any kind of plan. To see your current full financial picture, where you hope to see yourself in your retirement years, what your current savings looks like, as well as your debt. This all helps me to visualize where the holes are, what's possible when it comes to a whole life policy for IBC, how I can structure things for you, how I can structure things to address your goals and what your primary concerns are. If you have a goal to pay off debt, it helps me to see how I can build a policy for that purpose. So it's all just very helpful for me to help you in the best possible way. So now the first appointment is more about me learning about you so that I know how to help you. Then we would schedule an IBC consultation meeting. And in that meeting would be where you really get to the IBC learning, where we really get to your questions and really where I'm making sure of your understanding of the concept. Sometimes there's enough time in the first appointment, the introductory appointment, to get to some of your IBC questions and to get to some of the teaching. But we really usually dive in this on the second appointment. It really just depends on what you've got going on, how much is involved with your financial picture and all that you're doing. I often refer to the book Becoming Your Own Banker by Nelson Nash. So it's important or really great if you could read this book before our second appointment. This is like the textbook for this concept that most of us practitioners use and teach from. It will help you to have a foundational understanding and have more of a basis of understanding. And it will help you to come up with questions too, I think, that are good questions to really help that you're learning or help ensure you're learning. The first appointment really gives me the information I need to be able to draft something specialized for you as well, which we can go over in the second appointment. I want to be thoughtful in preparing a policy or plan for you. And that takes a little time when I'm looking through your goals and what you're trying to accomplish and how I could use your cash flow or what you're doing with your savings to maneuver things around to help start a good plan for you, a good solid plan that will address some of your goals or maybe all of your goals. I like to be able to suggest something truly fitting for your situation. And so scheduling a second appointment gives me the time I need to analyze what you have going on and draft something specific to you and that's as fitting as possible. I may end up having other suggestions for you as well. So, after this is when you would complete an application to make sure that you are insurable. We could get this ball rolling sooner if you're comfortable with it, as you won't be able to do IBC with a whole life policy anyway without being insurable. We need to check your insurability and make sure you can do this. So, even if your plan is not finalized, underwriting can be started because during the underwriting process, and even once approved, we can make any changes we want to the plan. Though it is usually best to put something on the higher end of your budget through underwriting so that we are sure to complete any underwriting requirements necessary for the corresponding amount of insurance. So basically, the more insurance that you apply for, the more underwriting requirements that come along with it. So it's best to knock out any underwriting requirements while you're going through the process and possibly having an examiner come over rather than undershooting it, submitting something lower, and then maybe they don't complete all the underwriting requirements for the amount of insurance you end up deciding you would like to do. We don't want to have to redo any underwriting or have an examiner come back out. So I always suggest if you're thinking of a couple numbers or you're not really sure what you want to do, let's go with a higher one so we get the underwriting done and complete for that option because it's very easy to lower numbers and go with something lower. That's no problem at all. But that way, at least if you end up deciding to go with the higher option, you won't have to go back and do some additional underwriting or meet with an examiner again. We don't want to have to do any of that. Let's make it as simple as possible. And any additional underwriting requirements are going to be super simple anyway. You won't even know the difference. It's just a couple things that they do extra that you wouldn't know the difference anyway. It's not going to be like something difficult you have to go through for a higher amount of insurance. We just want to avoid having to take any more of your time for anything like that. Once they've come over, any examiners, then let's be done with that and move on with the process. So, usually, you will need to have an exam done by our third party lab company. This is with lots of different insurance companies. They'll come to your house or workplace and take blood and urine, weight, height. Sometimes we can complete an accelerated application to avoid having the examiner come over. It just depends on your health history, the amount of coverage you're applying for, your age, if you're okay with a soft credit check. And I know different companies have different processes, but I just wanted to point out that there is a possibility for you not having to have an examiner come on over and you can do this all more quickly and get approved, possibly even in as short as a week. But if you're in pretty good health, because if they see any kind of red flags, whether you proceed with the accelerated version of the application or you do full underwriting, if they see any red flags, they're going to request medical records, which that can slow the whole process down. So underwriting typically takes about 3 to 6 weeks, full underwriting with an examiner coming over to take the blood and urine. But if they see red flags and need medical records, it could be slower because doctors are definitely in no hurry to be sending records over. That's not their primary concern for the day. So they're not in a hurry to get those records, and it can slow the process down. So that's pretty much it. Once we are working together, you are always welcome to reach out with questions. If it's a service related question that requires interaction with the company, I may connect you with my assistant to get that completed. However, we can connect for annual reviews and you can reach out with questions anytime. I'm here to help you succeed. So, if you're feeling ready to move forward and look into what's possible for you and you would like to partner with me, feel free to reach out. You can reach me at Valerie at alphaomegawealth.com. I hope this was helpful for you to see the process and it's less daunting now in case that was something that you were concerned with or weren't sure about. I look forward to meeting you. Have a great week. Take care.